So in our last episode, we ended discovery with a release plan, a product roadmap, uh, prioritized features, and now we're ready to actually start to unpack those, start to build those features in code. How does all that work get organized? What's process look like? What's a day in the life, week in the life look like on the product development team? A lot of the folks that we work with are creating a software product for the first time, and they've never experienced this. So what's the daily, weekly rhythm look like creating a new product?
Sure. So, I guess a couple things to set the stage. Coming out of release planning, we've already got a high level understanding of how we're going to prioritize the backlog and how we're going to phase the release to get the product to market in the best way possible given that circumstance. Now, even in release planning, that breakdown and that prioritization is still at a reasonably high level. We're not going to spend a bunch of time going down to every little detail that we would need to build a feature that may not happen for a couple months or whatever the case might be. So we've already got a little bit of the prioritization coming out of release planning. And really from there, what we're going to start to do is work down that list and dig deeper, right? So the things that are at the top of that list that we're prioritizing to build first, team's going to get together. They're going to do so we work in 1 week sprints, generally speaking. We do a review with the client every 2 weeks. So every 2 sprints, just for the sake of cutting down meetings. But we're going to have a sprint planning session where we're taking those items that are at the top of the list, coming out of release planning and breaking them down and making sure that we understand the details below that of what actually needs to happen to build that. So, any feature in release planning may get broken down into 2, 3, 5, 10 other, what we call user stories to actually get completed, right? So there's lots of different components. What we don't want to do is, take the whole thing and say, all right, we'll talk to you in a month when we get, this giant feature done. Right. We break it down into pieces that we can build along the way. Those pieces fit inside of a 1 week sprint. And inside those sprints, the software is being built, peer reviewed, tested. So coming out the other side, what we have at the end of that is a piece of usable, tested software. Now, it may not be complete. It might just be a portion of it. But we've got an increment of that larger feature that is coming out the other side that is usable, tested, kind of solid and ready to go. There may be rework that happens later on as the rest of the pieces are built and fit together. But we're making progress on that we're able to put in front of our customers so they can see it and start to get a feel for how this thing is coming together. So at a high level, we're working off that prioritization that's come out of release planning. Now there's always, some other pieces. We want to make sure that the team is full and all the rest of it. So it's not always perfect. It's not always everything at the top. Sometimes we're, laying some groundwork for some other things that are going to happen to make, best use of the team. But in general, we're building off of that release plan that we started with, and we measure and learn as we go. And if that release plan needs to change, then we tweak it, but we're working down that list in priority.
Yeah, awesome. One of the roles we did not talk about a minute ago is the role of Scrum Master. What's a Scrum Master do, and kind of what's a daily rhythm look like?
So Scrum Master is really making sure that the team is operating efficiently, right? So we talked a lot about the product owner, and the product owner is working closely with the customer and the market and the team to make sure that we build the right thing, that we're building the right product and putting the right product in market. The Scrum Master is really helping the team from an operational standpoint to make sure that they're running well, that there aren't blockers that are getting in their way, basically doing whatever needs to be done to make sure that the team is operating efficiently.